Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Our first of 4 recorded sessions with Dr. Andrew B. Campbell. And we will be spending some time with Dr. Campbell as he rolls out some thoughts and ideas and resources to us through his book that all of our educators will have access to, and it's called Stop the Hate, for Goodness Sake. And I'm really pleased and excited to welcome Dr. Campbell here today, or better known as Dr. ABC. And Dr. ABC is an assistant professor teaching stream in leadership for racial justice and teacher education in the Master of Teaching program at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education, University of Toronto, OISE. He is a coordinator for the Black Future Educators Program and the newly appointed director of the Center for Black Studies in Education. Dr. ABC is known to the OISE and wider community for his leadership on advancing equity, leadership, 2F LGBTQIA+ community, and teacher education. He presently teaches courses in anti-discrimination education, leadership, educational change, urban education, and Black educators' identity and pedagogy. He has presented at numerous conferences and has delivered many presentations as a keynote speaker, motivational speaker, and workshop facilitator. He loves people, food, fashion, traveling, and bringing his community together for a good meal. We're very excited to have you here, Dr. ABC, and welcome to the CDSBEO.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to everyone, and to all our persons who will be listening to this video, whatever time of day you're going to listen to that. And I like the idea of you having this opportunity to be with the video, to be with the content, to relate to it, to unpack it, to think about it, to question what you're learning, to wonder about it. And so I am very honored to be a part of this series. So this series, the book itself came about as a response. I want to get that clear. The book came about as a response to many questions. Myself and Professor Larry, who is a co-author for this book, we do quite a bit of workshops. And every single time you do a workshop, there is an educator. There are many of us who are asking for more questions, asking for more ideas, more things to add to your toolbox. And so I like the idea of the word response. When I was preparing this, I thought, how do we respond as educators? And I was thinking about, carefully thinking about our response. I have seen so many issues over the last couple of years when somebody said, well, I didn't respond as I should, or I responded without listening, or I didn't understand before I respond, or I'm kind of disappointed in my response. Before I even get into the response, I want to pause for a minute to say, this is a learning journey. Brendan, you'll hear me call names. I like to call somebody's name. Too often we come to these spaces and we pull up to these spaces, our computer, our laptop, our decks in the conference, that we feel like, oh, they invite us here because we are expert. That word is a word we kind of throw around a little bit too much these days. Everybody's an expert. People have asked me, are you an expert in this? And I've said no many times, because I said I am on a learning journey. I'm going to share something. I always go with my energy. I was in Ghana this summer. This idea of mispronunciation of names that some of us have got very scared to even want to call somebody name because we're scared, we're embarrassed. I used to say to my students, I'm going to ask you the pronunciation of your name 2 to 3 times. I'll get it, because I am learning. There are names that are spelled the same way or with one vowel different, and they pronounce it different ways. And so I want us not to fear these conversations about learning. So I was in Ghana over the summer, and I was at a college in Ghana visiting, and the president or someone there, the vice principal, I should say, was calling people up, introducing people. And at one point he stopped and he said to one of the students, how do you pronounce your name? Because it's a hard one and I need to learn it. And that was a moment for me. Angela, I see you get it. Because how many times we have sat right here in Toronto and it's almost as if nobody needs to learn, but we need to come with perfection. And we have to learn how to break that down, that we are in a learning journey. And part of the learning journey is that we're going to make mistakes. We are going to correct them. We are going to own them. I hope teachers are listening to me. We are going to own them. We are going to correct them. We are going to grow from them. And so, response. As educators, I want us to continue growing in how we respond to those who are hurting and those who are experiencing hate in our schools, those who are being bullied, those who are being excluded and pushed aside in many ways, those who are not feeling a sense of belonging. I want you to realize that. I didn't want to go into this right now, but my energy is going there for a minute. I want us to understand that no matter how beautiful a school is, I want to take my time on this one. No matter how beautiful a school is, no matter how beautiful your office is, no matter how beautiful the campus is and the parking lot and the garden, those are not the things that determine if a student feels a sense of belonging. You know, just so you know, Superintendent Tracy, I have been that teacher where I bring the books from home, I bring my flowers from home, I'm going to go to dollar store, get some extra stuff. I bring 2 cushions because I'm changing my cushions out, and I bring them to school. And I just feel like, wow, my class is so beautiful. Everybody should feel a sense of belonging. Well, I'm older now, I'm wiser now, a little bit. And I realize it's not in the cushion, and it's not in the little gadgets, and it's not in the little manipulatives, and it's not in the fact that I painted a section of my classroom myself yellow. I did. It is in the way I treat people's children. It is in the way I greet them. It is in the way they know I miss them. I am quite popular when I used to be in elementary school of students really feeling like when they're absent from school, Mr. Campbell missed them. And so because of that idea that Mr. Campbell missed them, they would definitely try to be in school. And so as we do this work, as we have this conversation, I want us to realize that this is not about we are going to sit and discuss hate. So if you came here for that, sorry to disappoint you. We're coming here to discuss tools, strategies, the ways we can respond to our students. And I like the fact that in this book, in the introduction, we began by talking about no one is born hating another person because of the color of their skin or their background or their religion. People learn how to hate. And that's by the great Nelson Mandela. And if they can learn how to hate, then they can be taught how to love. People used to question a lot, why do we do, in schools, why do we teach about skills like community and sharing and all of those things? And I have to remind people that school is way beyond maths and reading. School is where you learn empathy. It's where you learn to care. Many students who are grown up in they're the only child. They're not going to get to rehearse. I did say the word rehearse and practice and model certain behavior unless they come into school. And those are the spaces we learn how to apologize. It almost seems like it's a lost thing that when teachers are talking to students about how to apologize, how to do this. Let me tell you a story. Let me give you a quick story. Okay, I'm a storyteller. I remember teaching grade 1 at a school. I've been an LTO for many years by choice. So I do have a lot of stories because I've been to a lot of schools and I have been blessed to have so many opportunities to see how people operate. I was in grade 1 at this school teaching fractions and I was living my best life. My students are on the carpet. We are on the carpet. We're just doing the most because I love what I do. I love teaching. And we're teaching, and I used to use that back then. I used to use YouTube videos quite a bit. And there's a favorite video that I like. It's from an Indian woman, an Indian educator in India. And I love her videos. They're so cool. And so I'm in this classroom. I'm going to give you demographics. There's about 70% of the students are Greek, another 20-something percent are Asian kids. There's one Black student and there's one Indian boy in the class. Context is important. Identity is important. And I want teachers to understand. If you are listening to me and you're thinking, well, does it matter? Yes, it does. I'm going to repeat myself. Does it matter? Yes, it does. Knowing who is in front of you matters. Knowing how they arrived to school. I just felt that in my body. Knowing their identity, the kind of homes they're coming from, where their experiences are at, that matters to the curriculum, that matters to your teaching, your pedagogy, and your practice. It is what we call CRRP. And I want you to know CRRP is not about a storybook. Oops. I said it. It's about how we see our students. It's how when you turn on the video today, you said, oh, our speaker is Black. It's about how you go to an event and you said, wow, we're going to have a ribbon dance by an Indigenous person. It's about how you recognize, highlight, see, understand, own the people in the room. Because let me say this to you, a child who just came off a plane on Friday and is in your class this morning is not the same child who was in the school last year. Pause for dramatic effect. I have been that teacher who have had students in my class and they come to the school, they are in my class. Today is their third day in Canada. I cannot greet them, treat them the same way. I have to ensure that they fall in love with not just school, but Canada through me. I'm feeling all of this because this is something that I just feel it coming through because this is what we need to understand. A lot of times we come to the textbook, but we are not opening the textbook in the light of who we are as educators. So this book, as we put in the introduction, is an opportunity for us as educators to really allow students to think and question, explain, predict, wonder, and grow. Not just come to school to survive, but to thrive. Far too many of our students are surviving. I don't want nobody to survive my classroom. So let me get back to my story. I know you think I forgot my story. No, I don't. I tell 10 stories in one. That's my style. You'll get it. And I'm teaching maths and I'm living my best maths life. And we're doing fraction. We're just talking about sharing, sharing a group and a whole. And we're using the new words, right? Sharing, half. And then I press my video because my class is going so good, like, oh, this is going so good. And I press my video and the Indian lady comes on with her beautiful Indian accent. And most of the kids in the class burst out laughing and the little Indian boy starts to cry. And I hear people saying to me, Dr. Campbell, what did you do? Oh, if your answer is, I just went on teaching maths because that's what I'm paid to do. Wrong. If your answer is, well, they are grade 1, they don't even understand why they're laughing, let me just teach fractions. Wrong. We have to address the issues in our classrooms that are taken away from our ability to extend that sense of belonging to all our students. So what did I do? I took the little boy out, gave him to another teacher quickly so she could calm him down. And I pulled my students, notice my choice of word, I pulled all my students closer to the carpet to me. I said, let's gather around. And I asked them why they laughed. And they explained to me, because grade 1 kids, they are going to be so honest. They don't have time for, like you and I, we can perform and pretend. Many of us, we perform and pretend because of our titles. You want to be very equity seeking and equity knowing. So you pretend and perform equity and inclusion when indeed you are not that person. I did say that. But as students, they are so authentic. We need to learn from them. That's why the Bible, it's a Catholic school, so I could say that. The Bible talked to us about being like a child. I taught at Catholic schools in the Bahamas for years. Being like a child, coming to him, willing to learn, willing to trust, being vulnerable as the lamb. And so I said to my students, why are you laughing? And they explained to me that the lady sounded funny. Another person said she sounded weird. Another one, you always have that little one who is just brave and bold and remind me of myself, put his hand up a little halfway, pointing him, and he said, she sounds stupid, Mr. Campbell. I allowed all of that conversation. And then I pull them aside and I talk about accents and the power of accents, the beauty of accents. I said to them, I'm Jamaican. Yeah, man. And they all laugh. And I put the YouTube on and I played a Russian accent, a Trinidad accent, a Korean accent, a Chinese person speaking. I played somebody from Indonesia. I played somebody from Barbados. I played somebody from the Bahamas. And they got it. And then I said, you also have a beautiful accent. And we talk about that. He came back into that class and live his best life. Another time I'll tell you a story how that ended in another situation for you to measure the level of belonging he felt, that in September he cried and was embarrassed. And in June, he did something so amazing. His parents came to school and told me thanks. Because the only way he could have blossomed, get that word, blossom, bloom, flourish, is because of the ways in which that classroom became a space of belonging for him. So when I said we need to wonder and dream and predict, we're talking about possibilities. We're talking about possibilities. Too often our classrooms are so static. They are not full of possibilities. The heart of education is, the way how we respect each other, how we value differences, how we tell stories about where we are from. Anybody remember the days of potluck? We kind of cut down on the potluck because of all kind of school rules. I get it. But I remember the joys of potluck when somebody would bring something and I would be so curious. I will never forget the first time I came to Canada in 2008 and I learned about biryani rice. I will never forget. I work for a college and all I know is, you have white rice, which is steamed rice, and back home we have rice and peas. We have two nice rice. You'll have some Caesar rice here or there, or you travel, you have another fancy rice if you go to Punta Cana or somewhere in the South America. But I had no idea about this biryani rice. I have no idea about how Iranian people and other people from certain countries would cook rice. And on potluck in that college, you'd have sometimes 5 different kinds of rice. I was like, what's going on? I used to be in my element with trying to try every single rice. They had rice with raisin and date and prune. Oh, put that in rice. But the beauty of it was I was so interested in learning about it, tasting it, enjoying it. We have to allow students to not fear what they don't know, but to be open to learning and experiencing the unknown. School, as I said before, is way more than maths and English. And so when we talk about hate, I want us to focus on, when we think about hate, I'm going to skip this one quickly, and I want to go not into a definition. You can get this from your book. You can get the definition. I just want to highlight that, and I want to highlight especially, everybody take a look, especially the Ontario College of Teachers 2025 document. I trust and hope that everybody has a copy. If not, I'm going to encourage Brenda to download a copy and send it to everybody again. I know they could download it themselves, but nothing like download it and send it to their email. It's a cute thing to do. So send it to them. And there's a definition there. And I like to go to where we're licensed to teach. I like to go to that level of authority. And so I want to highlight the definition there. And as we highlight the definition, what we have here is just some of the taken from the books to show you some of the highlights. And I put them there to show you what's going on around us in other countries, outside of Canada, outside of our immediate space. But look at what's happening inside of our space in Canada as well. And I want us to be intentional about that, because too often, we pretend as if these things are happening only south of the border. There's a lot of shock happening online when people are discovering some of the issues and the hate and the exclusion and the lack of belonging and the homophobia, transphobia, racism that is happening inside Canada in different spaces where people are fearful. And so I want us to remember that we are not focusing on all of that. We're focusing mostly on how do we allow our students to learn how to care, to share, to be empathetic. That's the big one there. Empathy is the big one. If you have no discussion this week after reviewing this video, choose empathy. Choose a story where someone has to be kind to somebody else. I want to be very clear about that. Choose a story, choose a book, choose some form of conversation where children learn how to step out of their own self to be kind to somebody else. I want to talk about this next time, but I feel I need to share it now. My strategy for dealing with the bullies for years, it's been a good old strategy, and it still works even with adults. I used to say to my children, my students, I say, a lot of you run to me, Mr. Campbell, Mr. Campbell, Mr. Campbell. This is happening on the playground. This person is being bullied. And immediately you tell me who is the bully. They always pick out who's the bully. They come to report the bully, and they need to. And I said to them, thank you, and we need to deal with it. And we deal with it. See? Response, educators, response. It must be dealt with. You have to respond. Too often we go without a response. So the students are taking leave that, if I do this, I get to be at the front of the line and nobody says anything. So you keep on wondering why all your students keep fighting to be at the front of the line, because you have not addressed the issue. Do we have 5 hours for this workshop today? Only 30 minutes? I need 5 hours, Brenda. I feel like I need 5 hours. You see what I'm saying? But I know what's going to happen. You're going to take the next 4.5 to engage in your reflection. So as we're doing this work, I said to my students, after you come to report the bully to me, let me know what you did with the person who was bullied. Did you share the slide with them? Did you invite them to sit on the grass with you with your friends? Did you invite them to go up on the hill? I used to teach at the school where there was a little hill and we ran down. Did you invite them to go up on the hill and run down with you? Did you share your coloring book and your drawing book with them? Anybody see what I just did? So I am focusing on teaching my students how to show love, care, compassion, kindness, how to include, how to be inclusive, how to cater to a sense of belonging. And I keep using these words, educators, because somehow we have gotten to the place when we are kind of scared of the word. I don't know why we're scared. I don't know why we're scared. These words are relatable to our everyday classroom. By the way, Brenda, are you see my slide on the screen? Fabulous. Okay, because I want you to see that slide. Fabulous. And so we're doing this. So here is 2 slides we're going to wrap up. 2 more slides to go. This slide, I love this slide. I love this slide so much. It is our focus as educators. What is our focus? What is our focus then? We're here to gain information, and we're here to gather resources. 2 different things. The gaining of information, I'm going to tell you this, it's going to benefit you more than it benefit the students. You know, whenever people say to me, Dr. Campbell, you know so much about this work, you talk so much about this, you do that so much, where do you know? And I said to them, I am a constant learner. If you have ever been in a workshop with me, you'd be so curious. What is Dr. Campbell writing down? I am the speaker, I am the presenter, but I'm constantly writing. And people go, what are you writing? Because I'm writing things that I see happening. I go around to groups and I see ideas. I write something down. People say something. I write down the question. There have been workshops where I think the most beautiful thing didn't come from me. It came from a participant who shared a story about her classroom. That's why I always say, I am not the expert in the room. I am not the only person who even know it in the room. You know it. So I want you to gain information. And too often, we're not gaining those information from our peers. We're not gaining them from the discussions we're having. I love a teacher's book club. I love a teacher's chat in a staff room about a good topic. I love those things. I love when they turn a staff meeting into a conversation on a particular topic. Because that's how we gather and learn. That's how we unpack some of those issues. So gain information. And while you're doing that, you have to also teach your students. We live in those times, how to be careful with information. Because not everything online is real. You know, yesterday I saw a clip that's really disturbing, and it just shows you and reminds you of what is in the internet and AI and the levels of assumptions, stereotypes. I'm going to go there, everybody. Assumptions, stereotypes that are in the internet. It's an AI video, and it's showing a little black boy picking cherry or something to give to the royal children. And I go, this is so ridiculous. This is so demeaning, condescending. This is so rooted in deficit. Here is a video of the royal family and a little black boy dressed like he works in the garden of the royal family, picking cherries to give to the little prince. Are we still pushing those narratives of blackness only in servant mode? Are we still pushing the narrative of somebody who don't belong? Are we still pushing the narrative of Canadian English and you must speak this way to be seen and heard? Are we still pushing the narrative that what you're wearing makes me scared of you? Are we still pushing the narrative that Indigenous folks are people from once upon a time in a far, far, far away land? Because some of us are still teaching Indigenous knowledge like that, as if it's something that is once upon a time in a far, far away land, as if Indigenous folks are not in our schools among us. How are we disrupting that in our pedagogy and our practice? Oh, I felt that. Write that down on your notepad. How am I, not we, I, you, personalize, take responsibility, take ownership. Don't be leaving it to like, oh, well, my principal will do this. Oh, my VP. Well, the superintendent. No, it's you. It's you. It's you. Because you have those children in your care. The conversation is happening in your classroom. The misguided statement happened in your presence. The laughter and the shame and the exclusion and the tears happened in your room. Why are we now waiting for the superintendent to be the one to come and unpack the conversation? Gain information so you are skilled to do this. And I get it. Don't you think I don't get it, teachers? As some of us, we are scared, like, you know, Dr. ABC, I have a heart that is willing, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. Well, let us work on gaining information. That's why this series is being done. That's why all these people are gathered here to work with us so we can gain the information, gather our resources. We can talk about strategies. And we can, oh, I love this one. We can, oh, I love this one. We can embody the actual work. Listen to me. I'm going to say this to you, Brenda. I've gotten a couple, awards in my time, and I'm still working hard for more awards. An award is cute. It's cute to be called on a stage and they give you applause. Let's not pretend like it's not good. I love it. I work for it. But let me say this. My best ever award is when I have children who say, Mr. Campbell, you are the bestest teacher. I know bestest is not a word, it's my word. When they say to me, Mr. Campbell, you are the bestest teacher. That's the best award, Brenda. That's the best award. When a child knows that they love coming to school because you're in Mr. Campbell's class. That's when I feel I just in my Beyonce element at that time. I just feel like I'm just everything at that time because my students say to me, Mr. Campbell, you're the bestest teacher. So in closing, I'm going to leave you teachers with 5 things, and I'm going to repeat these 5 things every single time we gather. This will be a slide you will see on repeat like a good song. I want us to be mindful of our own awareness. Be aware. Anybody remember 2020 during pandemic and George Floyd? There was a lot of workshops on awareness of racism and anti-Black racism. A lot of awareness. 5 years after, there are people who are still sitting in awareness. You wonder, what have you done with all this awareness? You need to engage in it. Your authenticity is powerful. Our students know when we are coming from that very beautiful place. It comes out in your body language. It comes out in your arrival to school. It comes out in the way you teach. It comes out even in your physical posture. I am serious about what I just said. Your practice. And when I say your practice, I separated this carefully from your pedagogy. And every single time we gather for the next 3 conversations, you'll hear me break this down even more. Your practice is how you arrive to school to the minute you leave. How the conversation you have in the staff room, who you are outside on recess, who are you outside in the playground. Just your daily practice, how you speak to students, the language you use. I'm going to tell you about language next time. When the students get to repeat the things you say, you realize, wow, this is the impact I have. These are the kind of language I use in the school. And the students hear me and they model that. Your pedagogy. This is where it happens in your classroom on a daily basis. Who are you as a teacher? How do you teach? How do you center knowledge? And the last one, the most beautiful one, is your action. Absolutely nothing beats your action as an educator. We can say a lot, but how are we doing it? I could come here and I could impress you all with my bow tie. You like my bow tie, Brenda? I like my bow tie, right? I could impress you all. And then when I come off this phone, come off this internet, come off this virtual space, I am not the same kind, nice, thoughtful, inclusive person. What a disappointment that would be, Brenda. What a disappointment that would be for you to engage me in this work, only to discover on some way that DR.ABC is nothing nearby the things he says. So I want us to walk in being authentic. I want us to grow as educators. I want us to learn to make those mistakes, correct them, and grow from them. I want us to create in our classroom those spaces of belonging. Still bring your flowers, still bring your cushions. So don't be like, oh my God, Dr. Campbell said I mustn't bring my cushions anymore. No, I still bring them. You need to. But also remember, belonging is about how you create that space. So thank you so much. It's such a pleasure sharing with you. I'm excited about our next session already. So there are going to be some activities and questions and opportunities for you to reflect. And I want us all to be intentional in how we engage into those opportunities for reflection and growth as well. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.